knuckle action just ahead with BYB 9.
Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 168 pounds. He is making his bare knuckle debut, and he fights out of Hendersonville, North Carolina. Introducing Nathan King Kong ARRIAGA. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 161 pounds. He holds an undefeated bare knuckle record of 1 win, 0 losses. And he fights out of Huntington, West Virginia, by way of Tampa, Florida. Introducing Gabriel, Warrior of God, FREYRE. Our referee in charge, Bobby Wambacher.
All right, gentlemen, we've been through the rules in the back. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch them up if you want.
Our referee, Bobby Wambacher. Fight scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. We get it started in the middleweight division, which now becomes a contracted fight. ARRIAGA in the long black and yellow trunks. Gabriel FREYRE, he's got the red wraps. He is in the black and white trunks.
FREYRE, just like the first time we saw him, he likes to fight in that in-and-out style. It's going to be up to ARRIAGA to see if he can close the gap and control him. There's not a lot of space here, but again, we mentioned ARRIAGA's heaviness may play a factor into trying to track down.
And you know, there's a lot of bad blood between these two guys. I mean, you could just sense that before. And so the key is going to be FREYRE's going to have to contain that and remain calm.
Very athletic. We've seen it on display before from Gabriel FREYRE. And that alludes to what Paulie was talking about the movement. Got to watch out for that left hand, a little smile on the face of Nathan ARRIAGA.
ARRIAGA is controlling his energy right now. Gonna have to cut the ring off, the Trigon off a little bit on FREYRE if he hopes to catch up to him.
And FREYRE has a tendency to lead with that right hand. He leads with that right hand. So I don't know if he's doing that to measure the distance there right off the bat.
Yeah, or sometimes he could just be switching angles because he likes to use that jab. He likes to use the straight punches in general, which I think in bare knuckle it's a good advantage, and they land pretty sharply.
The little switch of the stance from FREYRE, goes southpaw.
And he says he's comfortable doing that. I've always get a little dubious about that because it seems like it makes him more lethargic when they switch over to that southpaw stance.
Paulie and I have talked extensively about that same thing, and we've done it on our air, Benny, before. Is we see that much more in the modern day combatants than we did in the old school combatants. You were either a lefty or a righty, right, Paulie?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times even the lefties today, I notice also throw right hooks. The old school lefties were just all straight left hands and left crosses. Oh, nice body shot there by FREYRE. Snuck that one in.
ARRIAGA keeps saying, hurt me, come on, bring it. Gabriel FREYRE happy to do so.
And you know, you look at ARRIAGA, he does not look loose. He doesn't look like he's got that quick in. And again, it might be that trying to lose the weight, all those things, that the physicality is not there.
ARRIAGA said he has nothing but respect for Gabriel FREYRE. And FREYRE able to avoid damage thus far. 30 seconds on the clock. Round number 1.
Yeah, FREYRE's athleticism has been really impressive in this round. ARRIAGA, very conventional, very fun, very what's the word I'm looking for? He saves his energy. He's economical with his energy, but he's gonna have to turn it up if he hopes to catch up to the elusive FREYRE.
Good counter.
Oh, good shots at ARRIAGA at the belly. Finally caught his man.
ARRIAGA telling him, come on in. Big swing at the end of the round. And we are officially underway inside the Trigon.
Right hand high, okay? Keep your right hand high, and you do the jab, all right? Don't drop your right. You drop your right. When you see you drop your right, just throw in the left hook. Slip on, breathe, big deep breath. That with the left hook, he's gonna read that shit, okay? He's gonna read that shit. I need you to jab him. Even if you don't make him punch, just jab him, Easy jab. How about boom, boom, boom. Boom. He's running too much.
And that's a good idea, Paulie, because he was waiting. If he uses that jab, you can wait if you throw in that jab, but if you're not.
Yeah, and also you also want to keep your opponent busy thinking about something coming back towards him.
Hey, let me tell you something that the ARRIAGA's doing. He's dropping that left hand, so that straight right is there. If FREYRE comes in with that straight right, it's there.
And he's used it a few times.
FREYRE always calm, cool, collected, but when he flips that switch, it is all business. Round number 2.
Interesting with FREYRE, though. He said he got into the fight game because he thought he could beat Conor McGregor.
Yep.
I said, well, might as well start at the top, work your way down.
Conor McGregor, Paulie Malignaggi seems to be a popular subject again this weekend.
He loves me.
Yes, he does indeed, buddy. Calculated in his attack. FREYRE.
The referee Wambach got himself almost in the mix of that too.
Yeah, the referee almost got the bad of that.
ARRIAGA had some success finally at the end of the first round. We'll see if he can continue that track on that in the second round, but he's gonna have to cut off the Trigon a little bit more. And so FREYRE has less mobility, or less ability to circle the space within the Trigon.
Paulie, when ARRIAGA looks to counter, Gabriel FREYRE's gone. When he's aggressive and he goes first is when he's doing damage.
Yeah, and that goes to show you what they told him in the corner. At least be first on the jab. Keep him busy. Oh, good shots there. And the counter.
Big shots from FREYRE.
ARRIAGA's like the boogeyman. There's no emotion. Oh, and he hurt it.
They're going at it here in the second.
FREYRE's fighting at home, though, for that right hand. That right hand.
You hear the corner telling him to switch the stance. Gabriel FREYRE does so.
He's got to be careful pulling back square like that.
Both fighters doing damage here in round 2.
There's that right hand, that straight right. Because watch that left hand. He'll drop that, Paulie.
Yeah, it's there, at close range. And that's why ARRIAGA needs to cut off FREYRE right there. Because when FREYRE does run out of room, ARRIAGA is able to have some success. But he keeps allowing FREYRE to slip out from the angles. If he cuts off the ring or the Trigon as it is here, he's going to give FREYRE less of an opportunity to have an escape route and be forced to fight at close range, which FREYRE is trying to avoid.
We talked about everything that happened at the weigh-ins, and ARRIAGA coming in very heavy. He's starting to breathe very heavy.
But he fights a very compact fight, though, Mike.
Yes.
I mean, he stays right there in that pocket. He's just kind of waiting around, and then he's letting FREYRE do the moving.
Final 10 seconds of round number 2.
Some replay of that sharp counter right hand there by FREYRE, and he walked himself a little bit into a check hook, but there's that straight right hand you were talking about, Benny, right there. And he's keeping that right hand up for the counter hooks. But here's...
There it is. You see that right hand right there? So as soon as he backs up, he leans, and it's there.
And you see the straight punches, even at close range, you see what they do. They force ARRIAGA to get back into defensive posture. So even the straight punches, they may not be the hardest, but they'll be sharp enough to force ARRIAGA to give FREYRE the space he wants for FREYRE to get out. And ARRIAGA has to avoid doing that.
If you don't touch with a jab, just throw the jab. You're going to see more things, Hugo.
And that's a good instruction to throw the jab, but he's reluctant to get in any kind of rhythm.
But you got to be careful, because it's not just throwing the jab. You got to make sure you're feinting with it as well, because FREYRE is very quick and athletic, and he'll counter you if you're just throwing a jab just to put it out there. I also would like to see a jab from ARRIAGA, but it's got to be consistent, and it's got to be mixed in with some feints. He's kind of just walking his man down like a mummy. He's totally emotionless, so it's kind of scary because nothing's affected him, but at the same time, he's got to get to work.
Arriaga 3-2 professionally in MMA, 8-2 in his amateur MMA career. Never finished by knockout or TKO, only by submission or decision. So the durability that we're seeing right now is no surprise.
Boy, this is what you can't do in bare knuckle.
Yep.
BYB, you cannot get
He came out swinging though, Benny.
That's the only way to get out of there.
Yep.
That's why I love the Trigon. You got to fight out of the corner.
Very calculated first fight of the night.
Well, they said they were going to start with a bang, and we got it.
You got that right. Arriaga on the long trunks. He's got the blue wraps. Gabriel FREYRE looking to move to 2-0 inside the Trigon. He is in the red, black and white trunks. About fighting in BYB, Gabriel has always said it means everything. Finally a way to provide for his family, his wife Cassandra, son Elijah.
Watch those fingers, Nathan.
But see, Paulie, Arriaga will not throw a jab. It's just kind of a pawing.
You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to get FREYRE to overcommit and then catch him with a counter hook. But FREYRE already knows this, which is why it needs to be on Arriaga. It's on Arriaga to lead with something and keep that jab in FREYRE's face and force a mistake out of FREYRE. He's hoping that FREYRE makes the mistake on his own by getting in too close and staying there and walking into a hook. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. FREYRE understands that too well. So it's up to Arriaga to force that mistake by at least throwing those jabs and forcing something in return from FREYRE, which may cause a mistake.
And Paulie, that's one thing that Nathan Arriaga told us. He said one of his skills is that inside dirty boxing, but we haven't seen any opportunity for him to do that.
And you've got to lull FREYRE in there, because it seems like FREYRE also knows that that's Arriaga's best game. He's avoiding it.
And if you're scoring this fight, I'm seeing a fighter in Arriaga that's waiting. Waiting.
He's hit himself on the chest. He wants the fight to be close.
Well, that's King Kong for you.
But FREYRE's not going to give you what you want. The Trigon is small, so you got to go get it. If you actually go and get it, there's not a lot of room for your opponent to run around. But he's allowing FREYRE to have the ability to have the movement around the Trigon.
You know, if you watch the style here, Paulie, you can just tell Arriaga is a street fighter.
Yeah.
He fights like he's fighting in the street.
Yeah.
That he might be there all night fighting.
Yeah.
And that's why he got the nickname, he told us. Every time he won, he did the King Kong. Now he's doing it during the fight. I don't know if he's winning or losing, but now he's doing it early.
He's doing it out of frustration because he can't find FREYRE.
That was a very endearing act.
Get in here and fucking fight. Shut up.
And some of that action in that last round. FREYRE sometimes has a lot of success with that left cross when he turns southpaw. He backed Arriaga into the ropes and then tried to let go of some. And that's when Arriaga finally starts throwing. You see, Arriaga is very good with that catch and shoot left hook. He'll start to surprise you with the hook right there, the right hand. And right away, FREYRE wound up going right back to center Trigon and saying, let me get my luck back at center Trigon.
Touch him and over. One touch him, pick him up. When he throws his hand, he's gonna make sure he stay in the middle. Throw your pipe through the middle. Throw your pipe through the middle. Don't get him focused. Seconds out.
So what Arriaga is showing is he's only really able to hit FREYRE when FREYRE overstays his welcome in the pocket. So it's up to FREYRE to always understand the in and out, and he's done a very good job at that. But it's also up to Arriaga to force FREYRE to stay in those pockets longer and also lull him into those pockets to stay in for the amount of time he needs him to be able to hit him. Because when they're at close range, a lot of times Arriaga is the only time he's having success.
Round 4. Fight scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Interesting that Gabriel FREYRE came out in the southpaw stance, but immediately switched back to orthodox.
And you know, the instructions they gave Arriaga is to stay in the middle. Don't get out of that middle.
But he's got to go get his man. Right now, if you look at Arriaga, he just pivots in place, really. You know what I mean? He doesn't really come forward that much. Look, FREYRE kind of goes around the Trigon, and Arriaga kind of just circles in place.
Oh! Big shot! Gabriel FREYRE!
Put his mouthpiece up.
5, 6, 7, 8. The battle continues. Beautiful punch. knocks Arriaga down.
And here's where Freyr's got to be careful. Don't overextend.
Arriaga shows you no emotion, so you can't really tell just how badly he's hurt or not. He's had the same facial expression the entire night.
His legs are a little wobbly, though.
Sharp left hand again.
The mouthpiece came out. He picked it right back up, got up, was ready to go. But Gabriel FREYRE senses that he can end this fight right here, right now.
Well, you know, the thing with Bareknuckle is it's a calculated, intelligent fight. You can't flail. It's got to be that 1-2 rhythm, and he's got to make it count.
FREYRE with that left cross has really had some good success there.
But there's the counter that you talked about.
Counter.
There's the counter. Benny, you're all over it. We've seen it before.
6,
Gabriel's fine.
7, 8. You good? Want to continue? Walk through.
1-1.
His legs off because he needs his legs underneath him more than Arriaga does. So let's see what happens now.
1-1 in the knockdowns here in round 4. Arriaga's gassed, but still very much in this fight.
And that's probably has to do with the conditioning of why he's showing up overweight, because it's not like his output has been the output that FREYRE has had.
Right.
And FREYRE's gotten really wide with his punches, Paulie. You know, he started out right down the pipe, and then little by little, the way he extends himself, he started getting wider, and that's how Arriaga was able to catch him.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a little bit of fatigue, and also maybe his hands are hurting. But I'll tell you, man, Arriaga's got a big, strong head. You know, it's like maybe your hands are hurting from hitting it.
Look at all the tattoos on that head.
Yeah.
The needle broke.
That doesn't look like it's fun even when you're hitting it.
The needle broke when they gave him the tattoo.
Good round, though.
Great round.
I'll tell you, I still think FREYRE won the round. You got a knockdown each, but overall,
10-8?
I think FREYRE, no, 10-9 nonetheless. It's a knockdown each, but you score it like a regular round. It seems like FREYRE still got the better of the round, but Arriaga finally got something to go back to the corner and have confidence about. First replay of the first knockdown here, and that's that left cross. And Goldie, you mentioned how FREYRE was turning southpaw and using that left hand, and that was it right there. And then here on the counter right hand, FREYRE overextending, overstaying his welcome a little bit too long on the inside. And the counter right hand by Arriaga.
And you know, that's the thing in boxing and in Bareknuckle. There's nothing like a guy that's hurt. That makes him even more dangerous than ever. And that's what we saw right there. Arriaga became an absolute pit bull.
And that's what I mean about Arriaga. He's emotionless in his face, so you can't really tell if he's tired, if he's hurt, if he's anything. I mean, he's had the same facial expression all night. Yeah. Even his body language. While Arriaga, you can kind of tell you're starting to see a little bit of some signs of fatigue, and he shows it in his body language. Arriaga's like a mummy, bro. I mean, you can't tell. You can't read him.
5th and final round. First fight of the night. Starting southpaw again. FREYRE with that great left cross. He looked for it again right there, Paulie.
Yep, and it seems like it's been a good weapon for him. I'm sure his left hand must be hurting at this point, because he uses it, throws a bunch of jabs out of the right-handed stance. Then he turns southpaw, and he's got a nice sharp left cross.
And this is the option you have in Bareknuckle. I mean, FREYRE chooses not to use it's actually a sleeve. It's not really a glove, it's a sleeve.
Right.
Whereas Arriaga chooses to use the sleeve. So it's just a preference and an option they give these fighters.
Yeah, and me having done Bareknuckle, I'll tell you, this sleeve is more so just to support your wrist. You know, your knuckles are still exposed.
But doesn't taping do that?
Yeah, but the sleeve gives you a little bit more, you know, because you tape on top of that sleeve. I'll tell you what, though, your knuckles are exposed either way, so your hands are hurting.
And if we've learned anything during this fight, Paulie, we've learned from Benny Ricardo that a man with tattoos on his head has a harder head than a man without tattoos on his head, right, Benny?
You know, I mean, sometimes you do judge a book by its cover.
You notice Mike kind of reels it off.
I mean, that's why Chuck Liddell was so tough.
Another output started by a left cross from FREYRE, has now backed up Arriaga to the corner. Sorry, this may be a shutout for FREYRE, but it's been a fun fight.
Absolutely.
Watch.
Yeah.
And the eyes, look, I was just checking the eyes of Nathan Arriaga. Yeah, he's been in a couple fights, Benny.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
but you know, again, if this is a street fight, I go with Arriaga, because he can be there all night. I mean, you can just tell.
If you have no timing and no ref, Arriaga will beat you till it's over. I mean, but this fight has a time limit, Benny, and judges. Yeah. So eventually they end the fight, and he's only got a certain amount of time with which to do the work he's got to do. Because I agree with you. Arriaga is totally stone cold and emotionless. He'll fight you for an hour.
I saw Gabriel before the fight a couple hours ago, and you know, he talked to me about the weigh-ins, and you know, that's upsetting to a fighter. I give Gabriel FREYRE a lot of credit. He has stayed very composed, very calculated. He hasn't went to throw that big one just to say, all right, I'm going to teach him a lesson. Because when he did, he got countered and he got knocked down, Benny. So staying within his game has been a real key for FREYRE.
And, you know, and that's part of the discipline. Again, the military background.
Yes.
And he's got great training down there in West Virginia. So he's kind of brought all that in.
Open.
And has done a good job.
Eye poke. Eye poke. Oof.
Yeah, very late in the fight.
The thing about bare knuckle and MMA, right? The eye poke. That's something we never had to deal with in professional boxing, at least. I can imagine. Doesn't Michael Bisping have an injury from that?
Oh, yeah.
Bad injury.
Bad injury.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of more dangerous than it might appear to some people.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't part of the thing in my sport of one of the risks. Took a point, direct.
Yeah, no warning, nothing, right up.
I guess it's that bad of an injury. I don't know. You know. I think you really have to watch it though, because I tell you, like you were saying, Bisping, you know, it doesn't take a lot to do that kind of damage to the eye.
I mean, and it was serious damage, and Michael had multiple surgeries on it. Almost lost the sight in that eye. 20 seconds left in the fight.
See, Arriaga reacts, man. He doesn't land, but man, you see that he tries to counter, he gets the timing. He knows how to fight. He hasn't gotten off enough.
First fight of the night may just go the distance.
Watch out.
Great finish, FREYRE and Arriaga.
I'll tell you, this is entertaining. I got a 5-0 FREYRE, but it's a good fight. And I want to see Arriaga again. I'll be honest with you. Arriaga's not an easy out for anyone.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, those last 5 punches were free.
Yeah.
I want you to stay professional. I want you to stay professional. I don't like this shit. Okay, I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. Come on.
I'll tell you what happens if Arriaga's in better condition, you know, where he can actually come chase you.
Jab?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm telling you, but he's not an easy out for anyone. FREYRE's a good fighter. Let me tell you, man. He's impressed me both times I've seen him. And he's tough, too.
Yes.
That's a knockdown in the previous round.
That left hand was timed out perfectly.
Gives it to the knockdown. And now Arriaga, again, once FREYRE overstayed his welcome too long, you see Arriaga was always ready firing back, and finally he scored his own knockdown.
But that's how heavy-handed Arriaga is, though.
No,
you notice that it almost
exchange.
looked like a glancing blow, but the legs from FREYRE were gone.
Yep, and you see that last exchange, same thing. Oh, FREYRE was trying to stay in there and trying to let his hands go, and he landed, probably got the better of the exchange, but you see Arriaga trying to get that timing on those catch and shoots.
So if you were to train Arriaga, what would you do with him?
First, I'd have him cutting off the ring or the Trigon. First off, I'd be working on that, because you can, when you cut off the ring on a fighter, you don't have to use a lot of energy, and you can force him to feel that pressure, like the walls are closing in, and force him to make him feel like he's got to fight even more than he needs to. And when inside the Trigons, doing inside the Trigon, where it's a smaller space and more difficult to move around, I think it's even easier to cut off the ring or cut off the Trigon. So I'd be working on first cutting things off. This way, you make your opponent feel the pressure, even when you're not hitting him. And then you can also get to him and make him feel the pressure when you are hitting him.
Judges have rendered their decision. Here is Big Mo.
The FREYRE had too many angles getting out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard for the official decision. Judge Torres scores about 49-45, while Judge O'Connor and Judge Tate scored 50-44, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Gabriel Warrior of God, FREYRE!
Gabriel FREYRE 2-0. Inside the Trigon, winner by unanimous decision. Let's check in at the desk with Dave Ryan and Claudia Trejos.